Live from Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, it's the Marvin Tucker Show, here every Thursday on the OK's Network. Brought to you by Unisys the brand. For all your athletic feelings, check out Unisys. Now, for the host of our show, is Marvin Tucker. Good evening and welcome to the Marvin Tucker Show here live at the OK's Network and OK Studios. We have another dynamic guest with us this evening, and we want you to sit back and enjoy what Coach Nathaniel Metz has to share with us. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
All right, it's ironic that we doing this and that we're bringing to light some of the outstanding students and coaches here in the District of Columbia, and also we want to talk about safety and then what you do as an educator as well. But it's one thing I always like to start the show out with. I want you to inform our guests out there who is Nathaniel Metz.
Nathaniel Metz is a proud Washingtonian. I'm a DC public school graduate, Calvin Coolidge High School class of 85. I've been coaching in DC public schools since I guess like 27 years now. So I been getting back to the community ever since the Million Man March. That was my goal. I saw that as an opportunity to atone in the community, and that was my gift back to the city to jump into coaching.
Well, that's a great segue into you as a coach. But before we go further, I want to dive into your job as a educator. And how you impact students in your classroom and what kind of students you deal with on a regular basis.
So this year, I moved into the SPED part of the education, for McKinley Middle. It was a small group, small setting, great group of young men. We have opportunity to bond because it's not a big setting, and we just work with them one-on-one to give them all the, the advantages that they need to move forward. Some of them started out in elementary school with a lot of behaviors. Most of them kind of like tantrums and things like that, but they've overcome a lot of those things. So, some of those kids are ready to get back into the general, educational side.
Oh, okay. Well, so when we bring up educational side, we have a lot of violence in the street, and sometimes we don't know, such as an individual like yourself, get a chance to talk to these students that they will, understand, what's going on, and how do you help them deal with the issues of what's going on in the street today?
Coach, I've been, dealing with our young people in our city for so long, but I've always just tried to give them, just good conversation to try to move them in the right and a positive way, because there's so many things that can pull them in, so many things that can get tracked. And I just want to make sure that having those conversations, that before they get into something negative, they think back, say, what will Coach Metz say? Or, what will Mr. Metz say during this moment right now? Well, you know what I'm going to say. Don't do it. Back up, walk away, make a great escape. Your friends might not like it, but you're going to be here a lot longer if you make the right choices.
Well, that's a great segue into you out of the classroom. Now we're on to athletics, track and field. Something I know is very close to the heart that you love, on a regular basis. How do you take track and mix it with the school day, but also on the educational side, because our organization is one of those who believe that athletics is not a must, but a privilege to participate in. So, do you have any kind of like after school classes before they participate in track to that point?
So our program, ever since I've been coaching, I've always believed that having a study session, study hall, power hour, whatever you want to call it, they all the same. But for me, it's a necessity for me to see what my young people are doing in the classroom, by the teachers, getting those progress reports. It's just important. It's imperative to help get them to the places they need to get to. I cannot talk to a college coach for you if you're not going to class. I cannot help you when a teacher comes to me and tell me that you're failing when I have not seen your progress report. So in order for me to do that, I have to make that investment in my athletes and my team by having these monthly and weekly and daily reports. We have a daily study hall before we go anywhere.
Okay, great, great. So that means you have all that in prior to them
Absolutely.
to hit the. So let's talk about track and field, and the reason I say let's talk about track and field, as most folks know, that's a non-revenue generating sport,
Yes.
and it's not really talked about as much as the other athletic sports. So, for those who don't understand track and field, such as myself, I'm a novice and I'm learning today.
Right.
How do you get kids to compete? Because most of the kids, they even want to play basketball or football. How do you get them to compete in track?
So it's to me it's multi levels of recruiting. One, you do want those basketball and football players. You need them. Those are your speed guys. Those are your jumpers. Those are kids that you need to fulfill and get your roster the way you want it. But you also want to go in the building and talk to some kids that they walk a certain way, they move, they run through the hallways. There's a lot of things that you see and that you detect, especially when you've been coaching as long as I have. You just see so many different kids, and then when you have opportunity to stop and have conversations with them, you'd be surprised. Like some of the most talented kids have never ever played a sport before they got to high school, and then when they get there, it's like, hey, coach, I want to join the team. Like, sure, come on out. So, or if they don't come out, I'll seek them out in the building. I'll seek out the PE teachers. I'll scout the gym classes. When we got fire drills, I see who running down them steps. I'm looking. I'm constantly looking. I mean, my eyes and ears is always open. So, but the kids who end up joining track, it's kind of a different population, because like when it comes to football and basketball, sometimes their coaches might push them out there and say, hey, we just want you to work on your speed and your agility. But other kids, you know, they might just be naturally fast, and with them, it gives us an opportunity to develop them, give us an opportunity to bring them in, teach them the basics, and walk them through so they get to a point where they become successful.
Well, I'm glad you said that because when you talk about the all-around athlete, and I used to stress to kids, and we did at Anacostia when I was at Anacostia with Coach Stewart. You ran track as a wide receiver. If you were a lineman, you threw the shot put. If you
Absolutely.
were tight end, you tried to do the long jump, and those things help not just you as a track athlete, but help you as a football player. Because now, when you go to college, most college coaches want to know what's your 40 time.
It's a necessity. They ask it. All the Power Five schools, that's what they're talking about. When a kid comes to them and they say, hey, sign me up for your program. They're like, what's your 100 time? What's your 200 time? If you can't tell a Power Five coach those times, they're not interested in you.
and our kids need to know that, and so to participate in track is a beneficial to them. It's healthy. It's where when you get older, they tell you gotta walk. But if you started, you're in a track, you get used to doing these things before you get to that age. And I'm not gonna tell my age or your age. You get,
Oh my.
you get to that age.
Right.
Tell me, do you just do the boys or you do boys and girls?
Boys and girls. Boys and girls.
So
Absolutely.
how do they run against each other? Do they practice against each other? How do you mingle those two entities together?
So, I mean, it's always been my practice to have girls and boys practice together, not necessarily in the sense where they compete against each other like on a daily basis, but we do have those practices where, I may put a relay team together, have some girls on the boys team, have some boys on the girls team, so they kind of get an opportunity to compete against each other. So it builds, team bonding, camaraderie. Just give them an opportunity to see what it feel like to race against the other gender. So
So when we talk about track, because track is, as I said before, it's not really widely talked about, and people need to understand that track is really a sport that you can get a scholarship in.
absolutely.
So tell me, when a college coach come to see you about a student athlete, what is, besides the times, do they ask you questions about their attitude, how they like, do they get along with people? Are these some of the questions that are asked?
The, these are some of the most basic questions that they will ask. What do the grades look like? That's the first question. And I've been blessed because at McKinley, by being an application school, the majority of the kids understand coming to a school like McKinley, it's academics first. So by them knowing that, that makes it a lot easier to sell a kid to a college coach. The next thing is, yes, they are going to ask about their times. Once they ask about their times, then they get the third question is, like you said, how is their attitude? How do they get along with their teammates? It, I mean, most of the kids I have, we've never really had any problems, and we've been able to work them out if we did have problems. I've been able to sell kids to some great institutions, Georgetown and Kansas and George Washington, and just a bounty of colleges to see these young people thrive and do some wonderful things.
When you brought up some interesting thing about driving kids to school. Um, One of the things that I feel like a lot of high school coaches fail to do, and I see that you're doing a good job, is how do we get college recruiters interested in our kids here in the city? Because we get that bad rap. Oh, we don't want to go to DC. They ain't gonna be here long. We gonna fly
Right,
down. We gonna have to put them on a bus to send them back home
right.
so they can go elsewhere. How do you communicate to college coaches to help your student athletes in that level?
So I, I think one of the main things that I do is get our kids out to these venues. We go to some of the best track meets in the country. I mean, everybody talks about the pin relays, but yeah, that's the granddaddy of them all. But we go to a lot of track meets. We go to New York, we go to Virginia Beach, we go to North Carolina, we go to all these different venues, and it gives the kids an opportunity to be seen by a lot of these college coaches. So when they see them, they start asking questions, they ask for their names, they ask for their numbers. And this has just been an ongoing process for a number of years. So now there's a lot of relationships between me and some of the college coaches where they might have picked up a kid from me 5 years ago. And they come back and say, "Hey, Coach, I'm looking for a girl. I'm looking for a guy. Do you have somebody? Because I know your program is going to produce somebody."
Well, and that brings me to another question that I had. I was looking over your accomplishments. Knowing that you once was at Dunbar, you're at Cadoza Roosevelt, right? Am I right?
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt. Um,
Yeah.
uh, and to see the amount of talent that you had a chance to coach. Um, Tell me how enjoyable that was to coach the Mets to see kids that go out of your program and go and then come back. And how does that make you feel as a coach?
Man, it's exciting. I'm just gonna say this. Two of the main coaches on my coaching staff are former athletes of mine. These are two of like my track daughters. You know, they are there with me. I had one since the Coach Dickey. I had her since she was in the seventh grade. So now, you know, she's an older adult now, but Coach Simone, same thing. I've had these kids since they were younger, so they know my way. It makes it a lot easier, it makes it a lot more comfortable to have, you know, a coaching staff, former athletes, and it also brings back a lot of alumni, a lot of kids who ran for the program. They come back. They come talk to the kids, you know, and just it's like going to the next level. What you have to do, the training you have to do. I've had a plenty of kids come back and talk to the new kids now. Just letting them know that you can do it. I'm not the first person to make it to college from Coach Met's program. I may be the 20th person, so you can do it just like I did.
Well, I also was checking out your accomplishments and see that last year you were the DCIAA indoor track champion. Um,
Absolutely.
so tell me in a competition so that listeners like myself or a novice that don't understand the track and field. How how did you win a track and field meet?
How do you win? It's strategy. It is strategy. I mean, every sport is about strategy, but it's about putting your best people in the best position to win. You know, some kids want to run everything. Coach, put me in this, put me in that, but that might not be the place I need you to help win. So, you know, the last few years, we've been able to strategize, put our athletes in the right place. And the other part of it is it's a little luck to it, too. You know, some coaches won't admit it, but there's some luck to anything when it comes down to championships. And we benefited from different situations, but we also have a really good team. And the fact that we won last year indoor and outdoor, and the year before we won outdoor, but I feel like the team we have this year is even better than last year's team.
So let me dive deeper into the participation of kids and understanding not just your strategy, but the point system. Now I just felt good
Mm-hmm.
about that because I was being nosy and I asked somebody, you win an event or you run in a certain event and you get this many points. Explain to those folks like me who don't understand that point system.
Got you. So the point system is based on um, eight positions. Eight people score. So it's 10 points, 8 points, 6 points. So 10 is for first place, 8 is for second, 6 is for third, and it goes down five, four, three, two, and one. And you want to have them high places. You got some tens, you got an opportunity to win that championship. So you want to get some eights and tens in the different events, you know, whether it be the 100, the 200, the long jump, triple jump, the relays. When you add all those points up, somebody's walking away with that trophy. And I hope it's us.
Well, I say this because you have a lot of quality relationships. and one is with a gentleman that we both know. He's been
Absolutely.
around track for a long time, Mr. Bruce Williams. How does that
Absolutely.
relationship cultivate? Because he is a track guy. Trust me, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
so
So
go ahead.
so like I've had some mentors along the way. Coach Faxio. I've had some brothers in track and field. Ike Parker, Marvin Parker, Desmond Dunham. These guys I've been around. Coach Teal with Wilson or Jackson Reed now. So these are like my brothers and sisters. We definitely have a bond and relationship. But Coach Coach Williams, I kind of look at him like a godfather. We've had a lot of discussions. He used to be like kind of like the rep for all the coaches association for track and field, and just being around him, I learned so much. Again, going back to that strategy thing, I watched how he strategized and beat me. I had a couple of second and third place. So, just learning from him and, you know, just watching him be a gentleman in the sport and showing us younger coaches that this is what it's about. It's not about you and your ego. It's about you building relationships with these kids, the community, their families, and giving them options, giving them an opportunity to go places that maybe you've never gone. And with those opportunities and those options, kids come back and they share and they just make you feel good about the relationships that you develop with them over a period of time.
And so that relationship goes way back a long time. I understand that you have many different relationships with many different coaches. From a novice point of view,
Mm-hmm.
when I look at track, and you give me a better understanding. So now when I turn it on the weekends when they run in the big meets, I understand. Like the Noah Lyles and those kind of people in the football.
Absolutely.
I'm learning something different than I'm accustomed to because I'm a former football coach and I'm the coach schools. So, I saw kids run track, but I never paid that much attention to it. So now you, with our discussion today, is helping me understand it better and how it. It's like somebody playing golf and they tell you, oh, what's a 5 hole? They can't tell you that unless you have
Right,
that.
right.
So today, I'm getting a real education in track. So as a coach, and I'm gonna say a coach and a mentor,
Mm-hmm.
what do you feel that in this day and age, what we need to really stress to our young people?
You really have to hone in on the social media piece. That's huge because a lot of college coaches want those passwords. They want to know what kind of kid they recruiting. And so when they look at those social medias and you have all these different kind of wow names and they look at that. If they, I'm gonna speak from one college coach told me. He said someone brought him a kid from Jamaica, and the kid had Glock 69 on his. That was one of his login, Glock 69. He said that was the end of the conversation with that coach and for that kid. And this kid was talented, but they don't want to see certain things. And I always stress to my kids, be careful about what you put on social media because everybody's watching. You can't take it off. It's not erasable. So if you don't want me to see it, you don't want your parents to see it, you don't want future employees to see it, you got to get rid of it. So those are kind of conversations I have with kids in reference to social media and how it affects your life, your future.
Well, and that's a great point because a lot of our kids are in yourself in harm's way. Some of them are not built for, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be a straight shooter. The street can love you,
Absolutely.
and the street can kill you. And so our
Yes.
kids gotta understand we need to get an education. We need to get in a program that's going to help us understand how to get to that next level. And I think that the outstanding work that you're doing at McKinley, the inspiration that you're giving kids, um, it really helps them continue to be better and productive citizens. And for me, that's means more than anything that we have. And I'm gonna say this: that we have men actually being involved in kids' lives. Even DCPS. DCPS probably 85% female. There's very few
Yes.
males, and
Staff wise, yeah, I
staff
agree.
wise, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's great to see males because it goes back to something my mom always said to us. It takes a man to raise a boy because a woman can't tell you what a boy is. A woman can only tell you what they
Absolutely.
look like. And
Absolutely.
so when you get young men like, and I'm calling you a young man like yourself who's willing, they're willing to put in the time and still have a family. And that's, oh, yeah, interesting point. With all the hours you coach, how do you manage the home life and coaching? I ain't trying to be too personal, but can you answer the
Man,
question?
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like sometimes your home life suffers because you put so much into what you're trying to do for your community. It's almost like you watch the civil rights leaders and you know they weren't home because they were always out, trying to save the world. And that's what coaches do. They're out trying to save the world, So sometimes your home life suffers, the relationships you have don't always be great, but you still have to use that tool, that reparative tool to get back on track. The same way you'll go with a kid, same way you have to do with your own kids at home and your family to try to create a positive vibe to make sure that your needs are being taken care of. Because I can say this, I'm the kind of coach I would die before I realize something is wrong with me. I'm so busy trying to be out there and be with the kids. You don't take care of your health the way you're supposed to.
But you
And I
really,
thank God for the lady in my home. She sat me down and said, "This is important. Your health is important. Them kids gonna be there. You got to take care of you because you're not gonna be with those kids if you don't." So just glad I have a beautiful relationship here at home that allows me um, to continue to reach out to kids over 20 plus years and serving this community, man. It's been great. It's been a wonderful love affair just doing the things I've been doing in the community.
well, and I wanna thank you because it's been a pleasure having this conversation with you, and hope that in the near future I can bring Coach Nathaniel back out there. Now, well, listen, you got
Absolutely.
indoor, you got indoor, just before the outdoor track season. Gonna try to get you back so we can.
Hopefully holding another trophy for you.
So that I hope so. So what I always like to do, what I would like for you to give before I go there, this question that I want to ask. What
Mhm.
is your current participation like for your track team?
At McKinley, it has been fantastic. I have some of the greatest parents. I mean, I'm not even trying to be funny. These are some of the greatest parents. Um, we're in the middle of a fundraiser. The goal is to raise $20,000. In 1 month's time, we are over 11,000, and this is because of what the parents are doing. They are pushing the fundraiser. The kids sometimes, they go home, they don't tell their parents everything. But I don't have to worry about that with my parents because I have a parent coalition, and my parents has been wonderful. They always step up to the plate. They make sure the kids eat. They make sure that when we go out of town, we have, everything we need, first aid kits to, proper housing. We don't stay in no cheap hotel. So, everything that we've been doing here at McKinney has been a blessing. And I'm telling you, it's because of the association and the relationship that I have with my parents.
Well, I bring that up because we as a city get a bad myth, and I'm being frank and honest, and this is not a political show. As you see, I ain't texting, and ain't nobody texting me to say, "Hey, ask Coach Smith." This is not that kind of program. This program is a positive message, and that's what we always want to lead. I have to say this because I always hear the stigma that we don't get parent participation. But you're about the fourth person that I spoke to or had on this show that talks about how parents actually want to be involved with their children in education. And it's stunning to me that people say they don't. And I'm hearing folks like you and Coach Sharif, Coach Nickens, Mr. Holloway from used to be DC Road leader. The thing is, if you can get parents out there, they will participate, and that's why.
Absolutely.
Question. Before we go, I always like to ask my guests to leave a word of wisdom to not just the student athletes, but the students in general, the parents and community. And I want you to take this time to get that word of wisdom from Coach Nathaniel Mack.
So I always say to everybody who encounters me, I'm thankful for the opportunity to help the young people in our city. I've had some mentors in my life that helped me. You guys like Norm Nixon, Kimmy Hughes, these guys, Stephen Lee. These guys were great mentors in Mayor's Youth Leadership Program. And we just developed a family. And although, like you say, you don't always see people to know that they're your family, we still communicate. We talk about, opportunities for kids. We talk about scholarships. And we just keep continuing to raise the roof. And I feel like my positive word is effort. Everybody brings that effort. If my parents bring it, my kids bring it, my community bring it, my principal, my school, I feel the organization has opportunities to succeed. And like you brought up, Coach Mike Sharif and Rob Nickens, these are guys that I've known for years. And I feel like those guys have positive organization because they create positive boundaries, people around them with the right attitude and motivation to serve our community.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Coach Metz, for joining us tonight for our show, and look forward to bringing you back. Just to let you out there know that this show is brought to you every week by Unisys the brand. For all your athletics apparel, check out Unisys the brand, and we like to say to Coach to Philip Morgan over there, the guys over there at the Unisys, that we thank you for your support as we continue to share athletics.
You've been on my mind. someday. I hope that it was something to
Thank you, folks. Appreciate you.
It's the 30 lows. It's the 30 lows.